there. Let's continue exploring AWS AI products. This is part two. So if you haven't watched part one, I highly recommend you do so because it sort of sets the context to this series of recordings. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. I'm going to do a screen share and we're going to pick up from where we actually left off. Okay, let me minimize this window. Okay. So I can't remember exactly which one we looked at last. Let me go through this. I want to say it was probably, uh, I believe it was AWS Entity Resolution. It was either that or it may have been text tract. I think it was probably those two. Yep, text tract. So let's sort of pick up from there. The next one here is Amazon. Again, if you haven't watched the previous one and if you don't have the context, you're trying to sort of at the 50,000 foot level get a sense of all of the AWS AI offerings, products essentially. So we understand at least that those products do exist and what they might actually be meant for. Again, at the 50,000 foot level, the idea is to keep going in the series and we'll dig deeper and definitely get hands on with every one of these products, with most of these products, if not every one of them. Okay, so the next is Amazon Comprehend Medical. What is this meant to do? Surely, this, we know it's related to healthcare. Extract information from unstructured medical text accurately and quickly. Now, my first question is, and again, I'm thinking aloud here, extracting information from unstructured text. I thought that was what text tract was sort of doing. Let's go to extract text and data from documents. So again, as I mentioned the previous one, there's going to be a lot of products even within the same vendor, which is AWS, that are going to be similar and there's going to be overlaps. I've seen that outside of the AI solution products. Like if you took the databases that AWS offers, there's a lot of similarities between the databases, right? Even within the world of unstructured databases, there's more than one that they bring to the table. So you might use DynamoDB in certain cases, and you probably use DocumentDB in some other scenario. But there is a fair bit of overlap. So sometimes there's no simple right or wrong answer. You just have to go with what makes the most sense to you in the context of whatever it is that you're trying to build. Collectively, sort of considering your team's background, your development resources, and your business needs, of course. That should drive this whole thing. So here, extracting information from unstructured text should be the superset. Extracting that from unstructured medical text as to why there is a product for that, maybe because it has to be HIPAA compliant and all of those types of things, possibly, not sure. But it says like doctor's notes, and maybe this is a vertical, right? So it is built on some other product perhaps that extracts information from unstructured text generically, but maybe this is in the field of medicine, it does something more specific. So of the products that we probably won't dig deeper into, this might very well, yeah, it says HIPAA eligible NLP service. That's probably what it is, right? There needs to be certain levels of compliance when you're dealing with medical data. So if you don't know what HIPAA is, you can look it up. So that's probably what it is. It provides maybe that compliance, and then it uses technology that's relevant to that industry per se. Now, again, you can look at that, and like I mentioned, we probably won't be able to. We'll try to dig deeper into a number of these products, and I said if not all, but I know that it's going to be unlikely that we cover all of them because just too many, and there's plenty of other fish we need to fry. So this may not be, the products in the medical space, because we don't have any offerings in that space, at least at this point, is something that we may or may not look at. But again, if, like I said in my previous video, if you have an interest in learning or looking at something a bit more specifically, so then that's fine. Just let us know and we are happy to spend an extra session or video and create some details and play with those products. But just without us being requested, we may skip some of these. Yeah. Okay, so this gives us an idea. So let's just go to the next one. Amazon Kendra. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. It says find answers faster with intelligent enterprise search powered by machine learning. Okay, so this is a search product, and it says what is the difference between the traditional search and intelligent search. And it says Kendra Gen AI Index is a new index in Kendra designed for retrieval augmented generation RAG. All right, an intelligent search to help enterprises build assistants. So if you don't know what RAG is, that's important, very important in the context of AI. So let's just go to Google. So this is for your data, right? The fundamentals of RAG. Let me see if I can. It's a technique that improves the accuracy of models by using external sources to provide facts. Um, it, from my understanding, at least this is how we're, the RAG is something that we are going to be leveraging certainly this year and in the coming years. It deals with your data. A lot of the models are built on public data, so you can use those models to query and ask questions about like Chat GPT, for instance, right? So it already has these rich models, and you're able to ask questions about just about anything and comes up with answers. But those models are trained with public data. RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, at least from my understanding, is training internal data, like proprietary data that is not available in the public domain. So that's, at least if not exclusively so, that's certainly one place where RAG should come into play. I'm fairly certain about that. If that's not the case, let me know. So this product, Kendra, I believe, looks like it's going to support enterprise search using a RAG, essentially, which means you have your content for your company in disparate systems. And we've seen some of the other AI products in the previous video where you could connect to these systems or disparate databases, much like Snowflake supports. I can't remember, but there were some products that we looked at within the Amazon AI space that did that. I might actually be able to pull that up quickly here. What was, uh, you know what? We looked at it. There's so many products. I'm just forgetting the name. Yeah, you can check out the previous video, right? So that is something we looked at, but this one's clearly is search centric. It says that it offers high retrieval accuracy and it can be integrated into Bedrock bases and other Bedrock tools to create RAG powered assistants, or used with Q business for a fully managed digital assistant. So we looked at the highest level again, Amazon Q in the previous video. We looked at Bedrock. At least we socialized the product and the name and what it is meant to do in the previous video. So surely, much like any AWS product, they have better seamless integration with the other solutions, and that collectively, the sum is greater than the parts. It makes it really powerful. So it looks like this integrates well with Bedrock and Q. So something to look at, and it'll be quite interesting, right? So search related, enterprise search related, Amazon AI product, Kendra. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Lex AI chat builder. I feel like I've looked at this one before. Maybe we even have a podcast on this. This was from a while ago. Powered by the same technology as Alexa, Lex is an AI chat builder that allows users to interact with any application using natural language, voice, or chat. So, conversational AI is sort of going to be the future of user interfaces, from my understanding and from what I can sort of tell from what I'm reading out there. This, I think, seems to be in that space. So it says use Lex, Amazon Lex, to build and deploy conversational AI interfaces for any application. Now that's going to be interesting because a lot of the applications in future are possibly going to be conversationally, what is it, conversational, right? Because rather than, even like, for instance, if you go to our app at this point, right, it's a project management platform with tons of features, but it's traditional in the sense of it has a user interface and you can interact with it the way you'd interact with most other systems. There is a notification. Oh, there's a payroll due. Okay, never mind. um Hang on. There must be, maybe there is no unread notification. I did get a notification earlier that That's interesting. Looks like there is a notification, but that doesn't show up here. Yeah, we had a podcast notification that actually went out today. Um, yep, maybe we don't have that integrated into the. Yep, maybe. This looks like a bug to me, something we need to look into fixing. Sorry, I was just a little bit distracted. That has nothing to do with what we are actually looking at. But what I was trying to say was this is not a conversation user interface, right? It's a very traditional user interface where you interact with it. Now, the next version of this, when we do have it, or when we spend our energies on it, working on a bunch of other things like APIs at this point, would be using the same system but interacting with it in a conversational manner. So for something like that, I guess the one we're looking at, Lex, is going to probably be quite handy. So something we certainly do want to look at, Amazon Lex. Okay, Amazon Lookout for metrics. What is this? Automatically detect anomalies within metrics and identify the root causes. Oh, that's interesting. So, when you actually, when you have application related metrics and you looks like this is going to help us detect anomalies within that and identifying the root causes. So let's actually look for Amazon lookout for metrics versus, just like we typically do a comparison, let's do a Datadog comparison here. Um, AWS based monitoring solution. Amazon lookout for metrics versus, I guess it doesn't pull up anything. So yeah, it says while both are monitoring tools, the key difference is that Lookout for Metrics primarily focuses on anomaly detection using machine learning to identify unusual patterns in your data, while Datadog provides a broader platform. Like Datadog is a great product. It probably you may have used it. It's a monitoring platform along the lines of Dynatrace and whatnot, even New Relic possibly. But I love Datadog. So that is a very generic platform for monitoring activities that are happening across your applications. But probably Amazon Lookout for Metrics is meant exclusively or primarily for detecting anomalies using machine learning. So, yeah, maybe something we can look at some point, probably later down in the list of things to do. It's an interesting name, the Lookout for Metrics. Okay. Amazon Monitron, reduce unplanned. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yep, I am now. Reduce unplanned equipment downtime with predictive Reduce unplanned equipment downtime with predictive maintenance and machine learning. Okay, so this is this for like hardware related stuff. Provides customers an end-to-end hardware, and software system comprising of wireless sensors to capture vibration and temperature data from equipment, a gateway device to securely transfer data to AWS, and it analyzes the data for abnormal machine patterns using MO. Who is it meant for? Oh, yeah, looks like there are some use cases. Yep, certainly hardware related. Save on costly repairs and prevent factory equipment downtime with easy to install hardware. Remember, I had mentioned that at least I thought it was hardware related. So it's folks probably for the manufacturing industry, right? Fans, bearings, compressors, motors, gearboxes, pumps, and whatnot. So surely something we probably may or may not look at. It's completely unrelated to what we do here at Snowpal. So it's to essentially if you probably used in factories and plants and manufacturing facilities to reduce downtime as it suggests here. Okay, so it's a monitoring. So I guess it's a monitron. It's a good name. Healthom Healthomics. Am I pronouncing that right? Transform genomic, transcriptomic, and other omics data into insights. This is, I guess, for in the world of medicine, folks who understand this, understand probably medicine will understand this better. It's a purpose-built service that helps healthcare and life sciences organizations and their partners to query and analyze genomic data. Again, a vertical, not something I think we might look at, but again, like I said earlier, if it's something you want first look at, I'm happy to spend some time and figure out what this means. So another product in the AI space for the medical industry, so to speak. Yep. Okay, let's keep going. Health imaging along those lines. storing, analyzing, and share medical images in the cloud at petabyte scale. So again, if you're doing uh, work in that area, and again, I live in the DC metro and Maryland, which is a few miles from here. There's a lot of companies that are in this space. So I would be surprised if they aren't already using some of these products. So this specifically, it's a vertical to analyze medical images. So again, they probably even have a product, I don't know, to analyze images in general. But these verticals, typically you want these verticals so they solve very specific problems in specific ways for those specific industries. So they are easy to integrate and into applications that are geared towards those industries, right? So that's why some of these are generic platforms like Bedrock and SageMaker. Some others, I see them as sort of vertical apps versus app/platforms. Given how fast we are, walking through the healthcare related products, you can say how much of my personal interest is in that space. Not much. I've done some work for clients in the area over the years, but from just purely from a software standpoint, right? Nothing much in the space, specifically in medicine. Um, but for those companies in those industries. Health Scribe automatically create notes from patient clinical conversations. Yep, I can, probably used by doctors and other people. So you're building products for folks who are in that space. This is something that Prop clearly is going to be helpful. Creating notes from those conversations using generative AI and making determinations and recommendations and whatnot is is clearly going to be very powerful. And one more time, it's HIPAA eligible, so which means you have to be HIPAA compliant, I presume, when you're working in these industries. So surely they have to support that. Health Lake, there's more in this list. Securely store, transform, transact, and analyze health data in minutes. The other one is for imaging in particular. This is probably for text related data. Again, HIPAA compliant, and it says transactions securely store and transform the data into a queryable format at petabyte scale. So I look at it as the other one was for images in particular. This one is probably for data, right? Non-binary information, analyzing that. Again, a vertical for the healthcare space. Okay, Amazon Personalize. Elevate every customer experience with AI-powered personalization. This is like tech support. Helps you elevate the customer experience with this engine. You can deliver hyper-personalized user experience in real time at scale to improve user engagement, customer loyalty, and business results. Um, let's see. Add your data, customize your model, create a solution, tune recommendations, customize a personalization API, highlight trending real retail products in real time. Just trying to get a sense of what Lotte Mart increase new product purchases by 1.7 times. Discovery helps customers find curated content. Customer session duration. Daily use by calm increases by 4%. Let me see. I'm still trying to get a sense for user personalization, personalized ranking, search, segmentation. Predicts the items the user will interact with based on the historical interactions. Wow. So does that, I guess it means that if you are, say, going to walmart.com or one of those, e-commerce sites or amazon.com, uh, or you're building you have your own e-commerce site, when people are actually interacting with your system, is it going to sort of, let me go back to what I was reading there. Predicts the items the user will interact with. So if you made a purchase, it's going to recommend that you look at something else, because I bought this tee or this polo, this t-shirt or pair of jeans, and I might be interested in something similar, like a music recommendation based on your listening uh, experience and data. Personalized search. Personalize your user search results by leveraging open search integration. User segmentation. Automatically segment your users based on their interest in product categories, brands. Yep, I think it seems to offer recommendations. Maybe it's let's see, was the example that they provided. Let's go to personalize. It did mention a couple of, yeah, Lotte, isn't that the supermarket? Yeah, Korean hypermarket. increasing customer engagement with personalized coupon recommendations. Yep, clearly, e-commerce and maybe even probably e-commerce alone, or maybe it's something at the store as well. That's interesting, right? So if you're selling products, if you want to create that personalized experience for your user based on, again, and RAG, retrieval augmented generation, should, I presume, be somewhere in the mix, I would imagine, because this is dealing with a lot of your data, right? Which is probably true for a lot of the products we're looking at. Okay, so frequently asked questions or companies using it. Personalize a video streaming app. Add product recommendations to an e-commerce app. Exactly. That's what I think we'd mentioned a couple of minutes back, right? So we were on the right track there. Okay. Amazon Polly, an AI voice generator, deploy high quality natural sounding human voices in dozens of languages. So let's look at this in the context of another company that I actually am reasonably familiar with, at least as a company. Does it have anything to do with SoundHound? Not AI. Okay, let's just do Amazon Poly versus Amazon. Let's see. So SoundHound is the company that, you can look that up as a company that's in the space of it's literally in that space. So let's say sound. It's a voice recognition technology for a voice-enabled world. They've grown quite a bit in the recent year. Poly looks like it's a voice generator. Maybe deploy high quality voices in dozens of languages. Fully managed services generates voice on demand, converting any text into an audio stream. So maybe it's different from SoundHound. This one, generates voice based on text. Uh, I'm pretty sure SoundHound has something that's in this space as well, from what, if memory serves me right. Generate speech in dozens of languages. So maybe something like Netflix or Amazon Prime, maybe for video content and audio content or even text. If when you're generating, when you're translating into different languages or converting text to an audio stream, you'd use something like voice generator. So it'd be quite interesting to look at this one actually. It says custom lifelike voices. New voices. It has a bunch of voices. So if you're creating even for creative content, I don't know if you're like say in Hollywood, or if you're creating content, you're not a big company. I'm wondering whether something like this could come in handy, even if you're a big company, but certainly if you're not a big one. So, okay, we get the picture. Amazon recognition. I'm intentionally pronouncing it differently because it's not recognition. Automate and lower the cost of your image recognition and video analysis. So we saw one that was in the healthcare space for analyzing images. This one says automate the cost and lower the cost of your image recognition video analysis. So I guess, yep, it is recognizing images. So again, that could be a vertical that's perhaps based on this. So this deals with face detection and all that kind of stuff. So if you're building tools for the security industry, maybe you're an ADT or one of those companies, I don't know. So maybe you probably have value in if you're providing value added services for companies in that industry, something like this could come into play, right? So this is for image recognition and video analysis. We at least understand what it is meant to do, and we can explore that at a later point of time. Amazon Translate, fluent and accurate machine translation, localized content for diverse global users. Okay, I thought the previous one I said translate, but maybe that converts text to voice. I may have said translate, but probably that's not translate. This creates translations in probably a bunch of different languages. So I guess the FAQ might say how many, what languages are covered. It says, yep, supports translation between the following languages. That's my native tongue, Tamil. Okay, cool. So that's translate, something that could be fun to check out as well. Transcribe, I thought we had seen this maybe. Or maybe we saw Health Scribe, which is for the healthcare industry, and this is transcribe. I remember I mentioned this, that's a vertical. There's likely a more generic platform or a product, so automatically convert speech to text and gain insights. So speech to text, so it's the vice versa, right? So the other one converted text to speech, text to audio. This does the other way around. It converts speech to text. So again, when you're using if you're using podcasting tools, they would certainly be benefiting or leveraging something like this. They take your audio, the voice, in you're having this monologue or a conversation, it takes that and accurately converts that to text. So that's what Amazon Transcribe is, automatic automatic speech recognition service. Okay. Um, deep learning is this? Let me make sure. Okay, yep, that's correct. AWS. Let's see how long. We're almost half in. AWS deep learning Amazon machine images, AMIs, quickly build scalable, secure deep learning applications in pre-configured environments. What is DLA? Oh, deep learning AMI. Scale again. If you want to check out what is deep learning, it's a type of machine learning based on artificial neural networks in which multiple layers of processing are used to extract progressively higher level features from data. So it's essentially, forget everything else. Remember that it's a type of machine learning based on artificial neural networks. So it's very cryptic. It gets very complicated. I looked at some of this a while ago. It gets very complicated very soon. Let's look at this diagram here. So AI is the broader circle, the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. So this whole series is on AI, right? Artificial intelligence and all of the AWS products around AI. Machine learning is a subset. It gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So there's many kinds. I believe there's like supervised machine learning, unsupervised, or even partially supervised. So machine learning is a subset. AI is a broader term. Machine learning is very specifically telling computers, teaching them how to do stuff without explicitly programming them to do so, right? So machine learning is one step lower. Deep learning, further below, machine learning algorithms with brain-like logical structure of algorithms called artificial neural networks. Now, neural network is a very, very complicated space. I don't even want to try to attempt to say anything about it. So I'm just going to read what it states here. They are mathematical models that simulate the human brain to process information. So they're mathematical models that simulate the human brain. So you can tell everything in that sentence is complex. So collectively, it's going to be complex. So deep learning is a set of machine learning algorithms with brain-like logical structure of algorithms is what it states here. So AI and then machine learning within it, and then deep learning further below. So this one is deep learning AMIs, scale distributed machine learning training to thousands of accelerated instances and deploy models for inference in production. Develop on accelerators including AWS Trainium, Inferentia, and NVIDIA GPUs. So GPUs, the graphical process units from NVIDIA. Oh, it's Trainium, AWS Trainium versus NVIDIA GPUs. Oh, they are a competitor to NVIDIA chips. I highly doubt it because NVIDIA is probably they've been doing this for like 3 decades and just that. So it's going to be a while. A lot of them can try to compete, but it probably not going to come anywhere near close for a long time. And it says NVIDIA's CUDA software ecosystem gives it an advantage in terms of developer adoption. CUDA is very proprietary to NVIDIA, and you need to actually write code that's on the CUDA, is it CUDA compliant or CUDA specific, so it can run on NVIDIA chips that essentially they go hand in hand. It's what makes it's the software part of the hardware, the chip that NVIDIA sells. So that brings that's their moat essentially. So this is again, I guess it's Amazon's chip, is what it looks like. Uh, Something to check out. This is going to be use cases, autonomous vehicle development, natural language processing, healthcare analysis, and accelerated model training. This is going to be one of the very last things. I can tell that this is, you need to probably know a lot of about a fair bit of the many things we talked about so far before we can dig deeper into this. So this could very well be one of the last things we look at. Deep learning AMI is very interesting, but I can sense that it's going to be quite complicated. Deep learning containers, again in that space, learning environments and deploy deep learning environments in minutes using prepackaged and fully tested Docker images. Even though this is in that space, even though even though you probably need to know a fair bit to get into this, let's see how we're going to slice it and dice it. It's going to be quite interesting. Yeah, there might be many ways to skin this cat. Yeah. What are these containers? They give machine learning and deep learning practitioners optimized Docker environments to train and deploy models in their pipelines. Cross SageMaker and everything else here. Uh, Containers are available as Docker images for training and inference with TensorFlow, PyTorch. So I don't know if you know this. So PyTorch, I think we may have done a podcast on this. I don't remember. It's a rich set of tools that extends. So it's you need to. I'm not a Python developer. Starting to learn a little bit of it. Whatever in the world of machine learning and AI, you can use other languages, but you're better off knowing or being fluent in Python because a lot of the supplemental or peripheral or even core tools that I've seen are based on Python. So PyTorch uh, is learning. I think this is something we may have looked at. I'm not so sure, but something to certainly get our feet wet with. You can get PyTorch is running on AWS and other places. Blah blah blah. Let's see. I want to get to the basic of learn about the tools and frameworks in the PyTorch ecosystem. This is a brand new world in itself. Okay, let's see. PyTorch versus TensorFlow. Yep. Okay, PyTorch is ideal for research and small-scale projects, while TensorFlow is ideal for large-scale projects. Wow, it's Python friendly. Um, so they are in that space. It's been a while, but I know I probably did a quick podcast at some point, maybe using PyTorch. Yeah, I don't know if I published it yet. But let's see. PyTorch and Python for both PyTorch and TensorFlow are helpful for developing deep learning models and training neural networks. Each have their own advantages depending on the machine learning project being worked on. It's ideal for research project, blah blah blah. Yep. Okay. Something to look at another day, but it is in that space of neural networks, right? And I think this gets very interesting. So it says this deep learning container they are available as Docker images for training and inference with any of these. I don't know what MXNet is. How does this service relate to or work with other AWS services? Built, tested, and optimized to work in SageMaker for training and inference of deep learning models using GPUs. DL containers require the underlying AMI to have the appropriate GPU drivers. This deals with creating these training these models. Now again, it's one thing to use an existing model, but it's entirely another to train a model, right? To create these new models. So it gets deeper and deeper into that space, and we will, I promise you, get there at some point. Maybe these are early days, right? So maybe not right away. Okay, what is the next one here? AWS, we've made the decision to end support for Deep Composer. Glad one less thing to look at. Uh, Gives developers a creative way to get started with machine learning. Okay, so whatever it is, it's not there anymore, so we're not going to worry about it. So if people were on it, I don't know what the migration path may look like for them. It's always something to keep an eye on. Speaking of which, there's something that we have to deal with on an API gateway standpoint because of some changes that are happening, at AWS. Deep Lens, What is this? Why am I? Oh, end of life. Okay. Again, whatever this was, what was it? AWS Deep Lens. What was? It's a deep learning enabled wireless video camera designed to help developers of blah blah blah. Okay. Guess it was not a successful product, clearly. Developer, what is this? Deep race. Okay, developers of all, I think I saw this at the AWS Summit. Developers of all skill levels can get hands on with machine learning through a cloud based 3D racing simulator. Okay, again, you learn fundamental skills training that power foundation models and some of the most advanced AI apps through the fun of racing autonomous cars. Who is it meant for? Fastest way to get rolling with reinforcement learning? I don't, I don't know. It says race. Let's see, getting started. It's probably in the space of hardware and software, and very specifically geared towards racing simulators. I'm trying to think, is it for companies who are building like games or I'm trying to see who that use case is. Community races, deep race elite, compete in time trial races, new challenges. Yeah, it looks like it's in the space of gaming, right? Sure, but I was just trying to get to understand a little bit more. But again, not something that we might be interested in. AWS Inferentia, get high performance at the lowest cost in Amazon EC2 for deep learning and generative AI inference. Generative AI inference. Okay. AI inference AI chips are designed by AWS to deliver high performance. Oh, this is AWS. Is this a competitor also, or quote unquote competitor to NVIDIA GPUs? Yeah, Trinium and Inferentia and all of these are probably in AWS chips, compete at least at the highest level, try to compete with NVIDIA GPUs and whatnot. So maybe not something of immediate interest. So I'm just going to skip through this. AWS Panorama, improve your operations with computer vision at the edge. Add computer vision to your existing fleet of cameras, which seamlessly integrate with your local area network customers. What AWS and Deloitte help Port of Vancouver improve supply chain visibility with computer vision based container tracking. Identified a need to enhance coordination, transparency, and supply chain efficiency. Blah blah blah. Tyson Foods. Industrial automation at Tyson with computer vision. Uh, AWS Panorama is a machine learning appliance that allows organizations to bring CV to on premise cameras to make predictions locally with high accuracy. So it makes predictions on on premise cameras. Okay. So, so if you are actually, you have these closed circuit cameras and whatnot, maybe you need to make predictions based on probably data available through those cameras, maybe in real time. Maybe you're likely using something like this, is what I can kind of tell, right? At least based on looking at it for the last couple of minutes. Make predictions locally. Yep, that's probably what it is, where you can analyze the video feeds in milliseconds, right? So rather than you manually looking at it, it probably is able to analyze that footage and tell you what's going on. Very interesting. And, even if some of these are completely unrelated to stuff that we do, at least at this point, maybe it's interesting enough that we might just sign up and maybe spend an hour or so looking at some of these. Apache MXNet on AWS, build machine learning applications that train quickly and run anywhere. Is a fast and scalable training and inference framework with an easy to use API for machine learning. I think, did we not see MXNet a little while ago in the context. Oh yeah, was it PyTorch? Was it PyTorch versus? Yep, both deep learning frameworks that are used for research. PyTorch is known for its intuitive API, while MXNet is known for its flexibility and portability. Amazon tends to have a competing offering for just about everything that's out there. So I mean, PyTorch and TensorFlow have been around for a long time, and I believe TensorFlow may be a Google project. So, TensorFlow makes it easy to create machine learning models that can run in any environment. I have a feeling this could have been. Yep, developer Google. That's what I thought. Yep, Google must have open sourced it. Yep. Okay, cool. So it's in that space. Maybe we can look at it, but I think again, um, try Amazon's SageMaker. Yeah, this is probably, again, it's competing with probably it's in the same space as PyTorch and TensorFlow. Maybe we can look at it, but sometimes, unless it's adopting again before you pick these, right? It's not good enough. It's not enough that AWS provides this, because just like we saw a bunch of things get desupported, there's not enough traction or adoptability. So you always want to make sure that there is traction, that there is a big community around it. Then there's not, it's not just hype, but you expect for it to stand the test of time. So, and sometimes, you have this hunch saying maybe, maybe not, and you don't want to, unless you're too excited about the company and you want to try it, sure, but before you make it part of your production code base, you better be certain as to as much as possible that it is going to be there for a while. So, given that PyTorch and TensorFlow and this is in that space, maybe there's a reason to look at, maybe there isn't. One thing is it's definitely going to integrate better, more seamlessly with the other products on AWS, but that alone is not necessarily a good reason to just pick something and go with. Even if using something else takes a little bit longer and a little bit harder, it's safer because it's been around for a lot longer and there's a lot more support for it and has richer features potentially. PyTorch on AWS. Okay, it's funny we're talking about that, and here a highly performant and scalable and enterprise-ready PyTorch experience. So just like you can use Postgres or all of these other databases or Oracle on AWS. You can use PyTorch on AWS as well. So maybe that's exactly where we might use it. So I want to understand the SageMaker referenced in all of these places, because going back to SageMaker, yeah, that's what we said we need to do to train machine learning models. And probably a lot of this is in that space of training those models. So you're using PyTorch on AWS with SageMaker. So yeah, this is something, I'm going to make a list in the next video of things that are a lot more interesting than others. And we can pick and choose the ones that are, even if they're not immediately relevant to us, it's no pal. If it's in that list of quite the most exciting product to look at, we will look at it, right? Certainly do it. Okay, PyTorch and AWS and TensorFlow. Sure. So we saw Amazon, whatever that name was, I forgot, MXNet. And then right after we are seeing, PyTorch and TensorFlow, maybe we can check out both of them. And I believe uh, TensorFlow is in Python as well. Developed by Google to use TensorFlow with Python. Can TensorFlow be used? I think it probably is language agnostic with other languages. Yeah, it can be used in a wide variety of programming languages, including Python. Yeah, but I think Python is probably the safest way to go. Yeah, it's the primary language used with TensorFlow, right? Like I mentioned to you, the world of machine learning, Python becomes very important. For whatever reason, that's one thing that I've never actually done any quote unquote serious work with, something that we've been paid to do, and we don't, it's not in our ecosystem at this point, Python, but it soon will be with all of this machine learning and the AI related work that we expect to be doing this year and the coming years. So TensorFlow. So that, I believe, is the last item. Wow, okay, so that's not bad. You were able to get to the end of this in the second video. So hopefully, let me go back here. Yeah, it's about the same length as the previous one. But just a quick recap, right? We looked at uh, a number of AWS AI products, continued, picked up from where we left off in the previous video. And this sort of, captures the essence, at least at the highest level of all of this, all of the products, all of the AWS AI products that Amazon offers. Now, starting the next video, video number 3, we will pick one and then dig deeper. Surely we're going to be digressed. Be warned that there is going to be some structure, there's going to be some method to the madness, hopefully, here in our learning. But given the fact that there's a lot of new things, there's like a number of new things we're going to be subject to, I'm going to naturally be distracted. And sometimes it's okay to say that I'll deal with it later, but sometimes it's better and more efficient to look at this other thing at the same time, like PyTorch or TensorFlow is something we need not have looked at when we were exploring some of the earlier AWS AI products, but we did. And as it turned out that they have support for it and they had other products, and at that point we didn't have to dig any deeper into it, right? For what it's worth. So that's about it. With this, we'll call it a day with the second video. Talk soon. Thanks.